Hello and welcome back. We are back with another feature game, and visiting us again is Pref in the Des Moines. With him he also has Red in the Wooster and Bulge in the Minotaur. There's obviously a division that would normally make any carrier shaking their boots. I haven't actually played the update yet, but from what I've been able to see, the Des Moines is perhaps not as strong as it used to be in terms of AA. Not necessarily bad, but not as good. But still, a Des Moines Wooster Minotaur should be able to handle most of the planes coming at them. We have 2 CVs on each team, one tier 8 and one tier 10. We also see that we only have one destroyer on each team, for obvious reasons. And then there's a fairly even split between battleships and cruisers. We are on the north map, and Pref's team will mostly be heading over to the east side of the map. We see that over in the west we only have two planes currently, 2 ships, I mean, currently, with the enemy planes coming towards them, since they are fairly alone. Kronstadt and Montana, even though they can probably defend well for a while, if the CVs really want to kill them, they will do that. All the others are heading east, as we said before, and the 2 carriers are down all the way on the J line. Not wanting to get particularly close to the action. The enemy Cossack has been spotted and he is heading into D, which obviously not going to be a particularly fun time for him, considering Pref is here and he has 8 surface ships with him to support. Before that though, he tries to get some AP salvos off on the Friedrich de Grosse, since he is nice enough to sail in a straight line, giving broadside. Cossack enters the cap, is detected by the lightning, and Pref switches to HE, and we see his shells and all the other ships are shooting at him, and the Cossack will not have a particularly long game. Let's leave it at that. Pref managed to get the lost 1000 HP and is rewarded with the first blood. The destroyer on Pref's team also goes down, meaning this is now a game without destroyers. Even though we're only 4 minutes in, but with 1 on each team, doesn't take too much, especially with CVs around. Pref is forced to be a bit passive here. There is a Des Moines on the other side of the island waiting for him, but the Buffalo is in a good position to eat some AP damage from Pref. The Des Moines is going down though, so there will be 1 less ship to worry about. Buffalo is trying to HE Pref, Questionable, and the AP that Pref is putting out is way more efficient, getting a couple of citadels and some overall good damage. The Kronstadt over at the west side has died. Montana has survived, but is now running east to the other ships on the team. Meaning the enemy team will have free access to the B cap if they actually push it. Buffalo is spotted again when they start shooting, and doesn't have too much HP, but Pref doesn't really get the damage he needs to finish him off. And because of the position of the Missouri, Pref is forced to stay at his current position. Trying to get some shots over the island, but even for Des Moines that's quite tricky. Trying to get the cap instead, as the Buffalo is reversing out from cover, enabling Pref to continue shooting at him. This time though he ate some damage in return, but the Buffalo is now really close to going down. And as you saw, as the Buffalo switched to AP, was significantly more effective against Pref. Missouri is eating some HE spam, as Pref is trying to get the Buffalo killed, but these first salvos he shoots a bit high. But at last he goes down, and Pref bags his second kill. While the enemy now has 2 caps and Pref's team has 0, they are still ahead on points because they have 2 more kills. Azau is pushing up, and just as the Buffalo, he is presenting a pretty nice broadside for Pref to shoot at. The Missouri goes down, and Pref can now push around the island and start hammering the Zao with some more citadels and some heavy damage. And with that salvo, the third kill is secured. And Pref has just managed to pass the 100,000 damage mark. The enemy team is more or less falling apart at this point. They're down to only 6 ships. And the CVs in this game are not the best around, so they definitely will not be turning this game around. Now Pref managed to beach and get himself in a position where he is a bit stuck between 2 peninsulas here. So he has to spend some time doing some unnecessary maneuvering to get out. Getting or using the islands as cover is obviously a very good strategy, but sometimes you can get a bit too close, which Pref finds out here. He activates his radar to see if there's anything coming. The Alabama was last seen in the vicinity, so it's always beneficial to know where the enemy ships are. Alabama is spotted. But Pref also has with him Minotaur, Massachusetts and Alsace, so he has pretty good support. Down in the south we have the Worcester, Montana and the 2 carriers to deal with the enemy Minotaur and the Shukaku. We see the HE coming from the island in C4, which is the Orion or Irian, or however you're supposed to pronounce it. And Pref is taking some damage, both from him and from the Alabama. We also see the Midway in the distance. But so far the planes have more or less ignored Pref and the other players on the north side of the map. Pref decided to get some damage on the Midway. Might have been better to see if he could finish off the Alabama first. But the game is won, so might want to maximize the damage instead. But it does cause some additional damage from the Alabama. Now the Midway, for whatever reason, is not turning even a little bit. With the carrier rework, you have to press the M key to get to the map and then click to change direction, so it's obviously a bit more tricky than it used to be when you can just press Q or E or A or D. But it doesn't really forgive what this Midway player is doing. Giving Pref access to his broadside for this long, and it's hardly surprising that he goes down not long after. In order to get the kill, Pref sacrifices quite a lot of HP on the Alabama, giving broadside. But he's going down. It's just a matter of who gets the kill. And it is Pref, and he gets the Kraken. He also got high caliber a bit ago and has managed to get 211,000 damage. Left is only the enemy Minotaur. And as Pref finished capping A and closing the distance to Minotaur, we see the carriers, or at least some of the carriers, complain a bit about the rework. And they have not been doing particularly well, and we saw the Midway before not even bothering to change its direction. Not very surprising that they didn't perform as well as you can in the carriers. Minotaur is obviously under heavy fire. Pref managed to avoid torpedoes that were coming from the Minotaur. And I guess to try and maximize its damage, the Minotaur is turning out, presenting more broadside, giving Pref more access to citadels. He avoids torpedoes again, so now it's just trying to get the last kill too. And we see the broadside and we see the citadels, and it's just to say thank you to the enemy team giving Pref all these broadsides. And looking at the result screens, we see that Pref managed to rack up 242,000 damage, which is always a nice result. 243 hits. He is a Des Moines after all, so it is expected. 6 kills, definitely good results. Only 2 fires, which is very unusual, but the enemy team was very keen on giving Pref as much broadside as humanly possible, which also shows as he managed to get 16 of those. For the achievements, we see Confederate, Dreadnought, Kraken, First Blood, and High Caliber, so a very nice collection of those. 12,000 XP, though only 600 free XP, so I'm assuming no flags or camos to improve that. Looking at the team results, we see Pref is slightly ahead of the second best player of the team. With about 3,600 base XP, he is twice as good as the Missouri, who had about 1,800. Red and Bolsh are further down the list in this particular game. They were both, at least looking at the minimap, a bit further away from the main action. On the enemy team, we only have one that had more than 1,000 base XP, the Minotaur, that Pref killed in the end. And as we talked about during the game, the CVs were not that good. The midway on Pref's team was 4th. The Graf Zeppelins on the bottom half, and on the enemy team, it's surprisingly the Shukaku that was in the top. The midway was just in the middle. Now the midway probably could have survived longer if he had actually taken the time to go to the map and alter his course, but instead he allowed Pref to just hammer him with HP, so not particularly impressed by his play. But Pref utilized the enemy's less than stellar gameplay very well, and 16 citadels definitely speaks of that. Good damage, 6 kills obviously, and a whole bunch of achievements, so a well executed game by Pref. A lot of help from the enemy team, but you have to use that to your advantage as well, which Pref did really well here. So I hope you enjoyed this game by Pref in the Des Moines.